Okay, welcome everybody to the March 17th, St. Patrick's Day CIPC meeting.
Yeah, I didn't wear any green.
9 o'clock. So at today's meeting, we have the last department, Parks and Recreation. We'll go over the master capital plan that I prepared and interview candidates for open positions here on the committee. So right now, I'd just like to invite Becky. Meeting's being recorded, and we're in person. Becky Amaral, you can go up there, and then you sent me the picture?
I did.
Okay.
Yes, for Evergreen, that'll be the third thing
Okay.
on my list. Just, I think that'll be easier so everyone can kind of see what I'm talking about.
Yep. Let me just get
So do you want me to just go through the three items for
yes.
this year? Is that how?
let me see, hold on one second.
I don't think we did. For this one? For this request, I don't think we did.
Yeah, so Becky, just run down the
Okay.
items, and you can explain them,
Okay.
and the need, and, the costs.
Okay, sounds good. So the first on the list is the automatic gates at Jones Park, Aponigencet Park, Dartmouth Regional Park and Trails, and Round Hill. You guys approved the entrance gate, but there is also a lower gate past where the Ray Peck Drive houses cross over. There's another gate there, which is included in this $94,810 request. I put it as a must-do. There's always problem, nothing good happens at night. And having these facilities left over, you're open to the fires on the beach, the drinking, the tearing up the lots, racing down the roadways, things like that. The neighbors have always had concerns, and we just did not have the funding or the personnel to be closing the gates every night. It's fine just if you could drive up to the gate, close it, be done, but you actually have to check for any patrons that are down there and then nicely ask them to leave, which is not always an easy thing to do. So I respectfully request that this move forward at town meeting to help alleviate.
Some
Yes.
gates will open from the inside, right? They have one at Parker River.
Yep, a person will not be locked in. It's a sensor that will, in the event someone, we don't see a car, someone is in there, when they drive up to a certain point, the gate will already open. That's how Round Hill is right now. And that's been working out well. There are some bugs where, for whatever reason during this blizzard, the gate opened, I watched it on the camera, it opened itself at 9 p.m. on Sunday during the blizzard, and then when it tried to close itself, obviously the snow was in the way and couldn't, which is ironic. It actually worked in our favor by having it open, so when it was time to plow, we could just go right down, but theoretically, that's not supposed to happen, so we do have some issues to work out, but overall, the neighbors have been so thrilled. There's been no problems, and so I would like to see this at all of our facilities. Are there any questions on that one?
What's the reason for the second one, more so?
The,
On the hill, the gate?
oh,
Round Hill?
yes. It's just for more security, because anyone going in through Round Hill Estates could then go down that way. It's mostly an older community, but still, if we want to cut off access completely, then that would be the only way to do it, is to have both gates.
Becky,
I'm sorry?
how much is one gate?
So the lower gate to Round Hill, because it has to be powered by solar, it's $20,410. And I can read them all off if you'd like me to, what each gate costs. Yeah, okay. So Jones Park would be $22,700. That we could tie into the electric that's there. Aponigencet would be solar powered. That's $24,950. Dartmouth Regional Park and Trails would also be solar powered at $26,750. And then, as I stated, the Round Hill Lower Gate would be solar powered, $20,410. And all the top three there, Jones, Aponigencet, and Dartmouth Regional Park and Trails, the gate, it would be closed for vehicles. You can't, there would be pedestrian access. There's just no way to prevent that. They can just climb over guardrails and what have you. But that's the breakdown for those gates.
I'm sure, as you know, there's been a lot of public safety concerns up at the regional park. Not necessarily just, it's been in hours too. It's not just off hours, but that's what, they all need to be done, but that's really one in particular that we need to put a priority on.
Yeah, in her description, when Becky had sent this, she did a good job at explaining, like, I think I sent this to you, this is a while ago, when Becky initiated this request.
So with DNRT, that's, I'm sorry, the.
DRPT.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
that
such a
one
long
The one
name.
off of Old Far River Road, right?
Correct, yes.
That one's tough because that's one entrance and exit, so that's just one big arm. Or is there a breakdown where you're gonna put two arms in there?
I believe that fence is too wide, it would have to be two.
Okay.
Two swinging,
Which
if
would
I'm not
make sense
mistaken.
because then you could stop, because otherwise if it opens up, people can come in while they're.
Theoretically, that could happen, yes, yes. Okay.
Okay.
The next one is the box van replacement. It's listed as a should do because the language didn't fit, but really it's a must do. The van we currently use is a 2007 and it's having mechanical problems. So we would be spending some money to get that into, workable order, if the van is not replaced. It's used every day from April through October, and then as projects are, less throughout the winter, but when we do have projects, that is the main piece of equipment. It goes out, like I said, every day from our main working time, which is April through October. This new one is a little more heavy-duty, rather than just I think they call them like an economy van. It's more like a dump truck body version, so it can handle more weight, and we can put more things in there. It's going to have an inverter, so we can have a power for our compressor, and the hose reel and outlets now will be in there as well. So that, for us, is a luxury, because like I said, that is our main piece of equipment.
Now, how many miles are on here, Becky? I know you submitted the sheet here,
You know what, I'm
and
not,
you didn't get the, you didn't
I
put the
might not
mileage.
have updated that. I can get that to you, though.
Okay.
Let me see if I put it on there.
18 years old? It's 18 years old?
I put 19, unless I miscalculated. Yep, no, I can get you the mileage. My thought is that the mileage is probably gonna be on the lower side, but the age is what's
Is
the
the vehicle
problem.
still able to get a sticker?
Yes,
It's still roadworthy then?
it is, but I mean, the engine's smoking a little bit, the gas, the float on the tank doesn't work, so in order, we have to just be mindful that we don't run out of gas.
So we're gonna auction that off. If
That
this is
would-
approved, then the new one gets,
That would be, but it does take a little bit usually to get these vans, because they
Right,
kind of
right,
have to
yeah.
customize it with the special lights for municipal work and things like that. So it's not like we can just go buy one off the lot, unfortunately.
yeah, we'd be getting rid of it, though.
But yes, we would not be keeping a definite replacement.
Okay. All righty.
And the last one, Gary, I don't know if you can
Yep, I
try to
have the
put
picture.
that picture I took here. There we go, perfect. So this is Evergreen Cemetery, if I can just come over here. This section right here, straight up, is what we have now, to the left. That is where we currently sell plots and do the burials. The next section here, and then would be the third section. It's just woods right now, so that's, our room for expansion. I think, again, it's not a must-do for this year, but we can't keep holding out. We literally only have 77 single lots remaining in that first section. And I would rather be ahead of the game than all of a sudden find ourselves, oh my goodness, we have no more room, and then trying to play catch-up and get this cleared and whatnot. So I would say, if, I understand money's tight, if we couldn't do it this year, then I would say no later than next year.
How many do you sell on average in a year?
It depends. It could be anywhere between 20, 25, 30. It just, some years are more than others. It just depends.
So in yeah, that's a good question, Debbie. And so like in 5 years,
Theoretically, we could
It
have
could be.
no space. And then, so the clearing would go up until this red line here, but we would only mark the graves in this section here. would just give us more space. And then the roadway is included in that. And also this roadway here is included in that price because this was never done for whatever reason. And this little circular area, that was never done either. So that's also included in that pricing.
So this price here includes all the excavation down to a certain level and then,
Says Old Fall River
Yes.
Road. I didn't even know there was a cemetery
Yes,
up
it's actually, it's everything. It's the asphalt, it's the tree cutting, the grading, the loam and seeding, and the asphalt.
Is that all pine trees up that way?
Pretty much, yes,
Large pine?
yeah.
make a lot of furniture.
DPW could use it for the mulch, the recycling. To go and mix it with the sewage treatment.
And that was it, right, Becky?
That's what they do. They take
Yes,
the
if
That was
I
it.
could just add
with the
something in
waste.
closing.
Sure, go ahead.
So I just wanted to give you guys an update on our current projects that we have funded. The Allen Street Garage, as they say, third time's a charm. The bids came back and we are able to move forward with the renovations. So the notice of award was sent out yesterday. I'm hoping that it will be starting for this spring, but I haven't heard back yet. Also, the community park playground surfacing, those bids came back as well, and that project will be going on this spring. The DRPT fencing, which the money was awarded 2 falls ago, that also will be occurring this spring. And the Round Hill roadway, we are looking for a temporary fix for this summer for that flooded area. I've been working with DPW and Conservation to hopefully get that somewhat taken care of, at least passable for this summer, because it is a mess. And that is all.
Okay,
Any questions?
any other questions?
No.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
So let's see.
Where is that cemetery on Old Fall River Road? I'm looking on my map. I think it's on the left-hand side.
Is it by the power plant?
We should take it out of order and listen to them. So
Is it way down on the left-hand side, almost to North Hicksville?
Oh, it's almost Hicksville. They don't have to hang around.
North Hicksville, I would think.
Okay, so we can take the agenda a little bit out of order since we have some candidates that, looks like some candidates that are here for the committee. So, as you know, we have some positions that are open on the committee. We've asked for applicants, and we've got 11 applicants, 10, 11 applicants. And so we invited them to come to this meeting and maybe talk a little about their background and any questions that the committee had thought of. But we haven't had this in a while, so we've had
Right.
maybe some time to think about some questions. I think there's, like, we had Beppy was the last
Us
one,
back,
but,
yeah.
yeah. So, Mark, would you like to come up? Sure. Talk to the group?
Morning.
Morning.
How do you want to start?
Maybe introduce yourself, a little bit about your background and
Sure. My
and
name's
your
Mark.
interest in the committee?
Sure. My name's Mark Lowell. I have retired at the end of 2020, basically, but still involved with a business that I owned. Turned the business over finally at the end of 2024. Prior to that, I have been in private industry for 40-plus years. As you know, originally my background was training as an engineer. I had a PhD in chemical engineering. I'd also gotten some, started an MBA program, had some accounting training there, started a family, moved on, but then ended up with an executive training program with the international company that I worked out for many years. Then moved on stopped working for the man in around 2011, started my own business, spun off something I was doing in business management and R&D, and had run that business, like I said, turned it over to a business partner in '24. My wife and I moved to Dartmouth in 2022. Love it here. I would like to do whatever I can do to help this community survive and thrive through some volunteer efforts. I haven't done anything. The only thing I've done as a volunteer is in the local HOA where I live. I live on Wildpepper Lane, which is, I don't know if you know where Wildpepper Farm is. It's off of Rock and Dundee.
Okay,
People-
right.
o-
Yep.
Okay, all right. I came in there and they had no one with business experience, no one with financial experience. It was a mess, the financials, so taxes weren't being paid, a lot, okay. And now, they've never had a reserves plan before. Now I'm creating a reserves plan, do a 5-year analysis of potential projects, and then figure out what our potential liability is in terms of these projects. And ultimately going out and taking that analysis and deciding what our assessment should be in preparation for stuff that could be as long as 10 years out. Would say the streets, you know, there's 2 streets that are private streets. You know, we have to have those repaved sometime. You know, fortunately, I have a neighbor who's an expert on roads. He teaches at Dartmouth. So I feel like I'm perfectly capable of doing whatever financial analysis, you know, payback period, internal rate of return, you know, MPV. These are all things I did all the time in projects I was involved with, in either running business units or in R&D projects. You know, what would be new to me is how do you do this analysis, would say for public projects, you know, where there's not necessarily a clear income stream coming in, but might be an income stream for taxes or just generally something more soft in terms of social benefit, let's say parks. Okay. So quickly, that's my background.
Great.
What's that?
Sure, Terry.
Somebody on the finance committee once said that if he ran his business the way that municipalities run, he would have gone bankrupt. So that,
Yeah.
it's kind of the opposite.
It's a lot more soft factors.
So you were on the HOA,
Yeah.
and have you served on any of the boards or decision-making bodies like that?
Not in public sort of related, you know.
Yeah, I mean, anywhere. I was thinking anywhere. I'm just curious about how you work with the team. So if you came
Oh.
in and you were working with the HOA, nobody took that up, how did you end up doing that?
Well, I got involved because I moved in there, and I'd never been in an HOA before. So I started attending some meetings, the board meetings, to see, you know, understand what the status of the rules were. What's the, it's a trust, so, you know, learning about the trust, you know, what does the trust say? What do the rules say? And as I started digging, I found out they'd let all the rules expire, but they were telling every new owner they had to live by these rules, but they didn't exist anymore, and no one told me that. And so then I started asking enough questions, and in particular, in terms of the finances, you know, I had asked a simple question like, do we have real estate taxes? The answer was, I don't know. And then I came to the office here, we hadn't paid the taxes in 2 years, that type of thing. And so then I got more active, and I ended up writing the job description for the treasurer, and he quit. So I wrote the job description. But in terms of operating a teams, obviously, you know, in private industry, I had to be involved. You know, it wasn't me saying, oh, we need to put 10 machines at this end of the plant. You know, I would have to work with operations, have to work with finance, you know, and have to, you know, work with a team, always working in a team of people, either reporting directly to me or under other management.
So in the HOA, you found that there was a need after going to meetings, right?
Unfortunately.
Right, yeah.
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 So then I stepped up, and
Yeah.
as soon as this
Yeah.
guy retired, there was an election, well, we just had an election cycle. I got voted in as secretary. I knew this guy was gonna eventually go, he left, and then I just picked up the treasurer's job instead of.
Yeah. I know you watch some of these HOA meetings, they, you know, and some of these groups, they get very contentious. I mean, it's really contentious, you know?
Yeah, this is not the situation we had.
Yeah.
I mean, it ended up quietly contentious with individuals. I didn't want to make a public,
Right,
you
yep.
know, I didn't want to call out the treasurer. You know, it would just sort of, you know, have a meeting and say, I'd ask a question. If I didn't like the answer, I wouldn't like
Right,
blast him
right,
there.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
Yeah, what's your understanding of our committee and why do you want to be a member on it?
Okay, well, first off, why do I want to do anything like this? Because I want to do something valuable, that I have a skill set to contribute to this community, okay? So, you know, doing financial analysis, I'm very comfortable with. I think I do very thoroughly and very well. So, you know, having opinions about that and supporting that would be a contribution I can make in terms of my skill set. So in terms of, I didn't look at every volunteer opportunity within the town. My wife made me aware of this, and she said, you should be perfect for this. And so I looked into it, and I've done some more research, and I've researched generally what are the practices for townships in terms, or more specifically, you know, doing searches, you know, what do other towns do? What do they need to do? But I've not, would say, done in-depth an analysis of how good a job or bad a job we've done here. You know, I expect you to just tell me that, okay? You know, I've researched what should a capital committee should be doing and what, in terms of a township. Does that answer your question?
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
How many houses are in Wildpepper? I haven't been in there.
14.
14 houses in there?
Yeah, there's a couple properties that are undeveloped, and they'll never be developed there in Wetland. We have 45 acres of open space that's part of our trust.
Yep. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been up there. It's a beautiful spot. Used to
Love it there. This is the favorite place I've ever lived.
be a rock quarry.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, look, right down over the top of
All
it.
those rocks in the dike down there.
Exactly. And a bunch of them, you know, around, you know, roads, the two streets that are part of the HOA.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else, Terry?
I don't have anything else, yeah.
I'm good.
I give you a few questions?
Sure.
Okay. I'll try to make it quick. You know, in terms of financial analysis, the softer part of it I mentioned, you know, public benefit, are most of the projects you do not income generating?
Most of the projects that we put through,
Yeah,
so I'll give you a little bit of explanation how we fund these projects. First of all, we fund it from either free cash on the general fund side or retained earnings on the enterprise fund side. If you have water and sewer, each one of those categories generates their own revenue, if you will.
Right.
So at the end of the year, when we do a calculation, we have X amount of dollars left over. Typically, what we've done in the past is we've put that towards capital projects. But recently, we're talking about having to do borrowings because some of these projects are now into the millions of dollars.
so
You know,
bonds or just
bonds,
bank?
yep, we go to bonds.
All right.
And we ask the public to, you know, we ask a question at town meeting, would you want to put this on the ballot to, you know, to vote on a specific
Okay.
project? But that's how the funding, that's really the funding mechanism for a lot of the projects that this committee votes on.
Okay. So does the town or this committee have a, let's say, a metric in terms of current total debt service as a percentage of annual tax revenue?
Matter of fact, we're going through that right now, because as I mentioned, a lot of these projects are big. You know, we're
Okay.
talking about new schools, new treatment plant, and how that fits in our current debt schedule. We actually, Cody did a presentation at the last Board of Selectmen meeting and talked about that.
Okay. More function in terms of the committee, how often are meetings?
So I usually send out the budget message to the department heads in November, and it gets them thinking about what their requests will be. They then submit those usually around the end of December. We'll start the meetings with the group at that time, and they run from, it could be December, January, all the way through, you know, now, March,
How
April.
often? How often?
Once a week, maybe, depending on when I get the requests in, but, and we schedule those in the morning, sometime around, you know, 9, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
So
in
the
morning.
ones per week during this, would say 6-month
Yeah,
period?
say 6 months, yeah.
Okay. you know, what happens, and it's not unusual for me to go overseas for private time for like a month at a time, okay? You know, if
We
I-
do Zoom, we can do Zoom meetings.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right. You know, what's the load on the committee right now? Is it something the committee has trouble keeping track up with, or do you expand, or?
I don't think there's much of a,
I think we're just down 2 members right now.
Yeah.
That's the reason.
You're down 2, because I
Yeah.
thought you're down 1.
two.
2 members.
Oh, okay,
Ultimately, yeah.
Yeah.
right.
We've been down one for
Yeah.
a while, for
Yes.
many years.
So is the current load, say, typical, or is it some years really high in terms of the demands on that, on capital committee, or?
In terms of requests that we receive?
Yeah, or yeah, like the amount of work you have to do to respond and review.
I mean, the amount of work is the amount of work that I suppose you put in, like, you know, I think we all put in a good amount of work to figure out, like, do our own worksheets to see how we're gonna spend money, because I mean, some of us have been in this town for a long time.
Yeah,
My
okay.
whole life, pretty much. So, over 47 years that I've been here, and so, like, we really care about this and we wanna see this, you know, succeed. So, yeah, I think a lot of us put in a decent amount of time during these 5 or 6 weeks that we're doing this, so. and
Yeah, I think it's a lot too, it's a lot of, it's analytical, so I gather all that information, so the information is prepared by me for the group.
Okay.
All the financials are, and it's really the groups, they're analyzing a lot of this, so it's a lot of analytical, data, information that they have to decide on. I mean, they all come with different views, different opinions, most of the time, we're all agreeing on that, but it's a lot of, they're doing their own, research on a lot of these items that come through, questions that they have in particular for each one of the projects. So I want to say it's, each individual member is kind of doing their own individual analysis and research on all of these projects.
In the last 10 years, what has been your most successful capital project? Just name one.
That didn't involve borrowing.
Good question, actually, well, we had managed to get the library going.
Yep, yep.
We built the new library and we built the police station in the last,
Okay.
yeah.
And what was the library cost?
I think it was 14
Around
million
there.
all told. And then we had
That
gotten,
was a combination of
we got
library,
funds,
Did
state,
you have to go get funding externally for that, or was that all funded?
was library, I think it was.
Massachusetts
Department
Board of
Library.
Library Commissioners funded all
Okay,
that.
okay,
Yep.
so you had a other governmental agency that provided funding, okay. What was the worst project in the past 10 years? You were disappointed how it came out. Don't be too hard on yourselves.
No, that's a good one, Terry. I think the stadium's a good
Yeah.
example. Not that it came out poorly, but, you know, they anticipated being able to do the whole project, and we essentially just got the field done.
Okay,
And then
In the,
cost
in the
escalated,
building, yeah, due to the cost just about doubled.
so the costs went up because of inflation or just misunderstanding the project?
No, I think
We've
it's,
also
primarily
gone through some
inflation, yeah.
transitions with leadership, so we've had a couple of, Cody's been here for two years now, 1.5.
No, 6 months.
6 months.
7 months.
it seems a lot longer now.
Yeah,
Gary has been here for a while, but
hope that's a good
in
thing.
another role. And on this committee, there's been different people. I don't bring technical and financial
yeah.
perspective, but I am interested in the communication with the town meeting and how this information gets out to people.
Yeah, the chat,
Are you Teresa Ham?
I am.
I know your doppelganger. I used to work in Pennsylvania for a woman named Teresa Ham. I haven't seen that.
yeah, the challenge has been, I think more so this committee's realized that over the last few years is the cost of inflation is so high. So that as these projects get, I don't want to say put off, but the funding mechanism isn't there, it becomes that much more money to complete these projects going forward. So I think that's one thing that's been an eye-opener for this committee, you know, and that's a challenge, that's a big challenge. The projects still need to be done,
Okay.
you know?
and I think another thing that we've done a good job of since when I started like 7 or 8 years ago is that a lot of the open articles that have gone unused have been reclaimed, and Gary has done, and Cody have done a good job of recapturing that money so we can use for other projects. Because what will happen is if those articles stay open for too long, the costs go out of control, and it's not gonna be used. So I think we've done a real good job of recapturing that. So we've definitely made this, committee more of less of a rubber stamp and more of a, let's look at things and
Good.
get things done.
Created accountability too.
Right.
Created a lot of I'd say, accountability. yeah.
Well, thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming in.
I don't need to stay for anything else?
You can
this
stay if you'd like, or we won't force you.
month? Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, yeah.
When will you-
We'll be in touch,
Okay, about when will you make a decision?
probably within a week.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Okay, Maria, yeah.
Good morning.
So you had
Yeah.
heard the last candidate, so if you
You
wanted
asked
to
a lot
say
of
your name.
questions, so I don't have too many. My name is Maria Freda. I live in South Dartmouth on Elm Street. I moved here in October, November, in 2025, but we bought the house about a year ago and we've been renovating it. So that's been a great project. I am an accountant by trade. I'm licensed as a CPA in the state of New York. I work for a company called Horizon Media. Started out as a controller there. I've been the chief accounting officer. Right now, I kind of lead the whole back office, which is, I oversee over 100 people, and we're paying bills and we're making sure money comes in. I have a deep passion for public service. I was an intern in college for Senator Moynihan. I volunteered at the White House. I'm the kind of person that volunteers to be the foreman when I get asked to serve for jury duty because I think it's so interesting. And this is a goal of mine that I've had for a long time. I think I'm aptly qualified for this role. My father was in construction my whole life. I've been around capital projects forever. In my company, I've helped we moved and we built out a whole space. I've helped with that budget. I've done the construction selections of the vendors. So I feel like I really have a lot to offer, and it would be a real honor to be a part of this committee.
So my question was about teams and what other boards, have you served on any other volunteer boards or?
No, I haven't served on any volunteer boards. I've also, I've started a fractional CFO company, so I've worked very closely with startups and helping them kind of make decisions and financially. I've done work about, we're presenting information to banks and working with banks and getting funding, but I've not served on a board.
So have you watched some of our meetings? Have
have, yeah.
you, like, almost educated yourself on what the process is?
Yeah, a little
what we
bit.
do? Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, and listening to what you said before, right? I have the time and to donate, right, and to commit to this committee. I've watched Cody online recently. So, yeah, I understand that you meet, once a week or so, and that you've come here to kind of analyze the projects and make decisions to go forward. I'm curious how you manage, like, how do you measure success here? Like, what's your measure of success? Like, how do you know you've kind of made the right decisions or you've gone in the right direction?
Well, I think success is when the committee approves a project and the department comes back to the committee and says, the project is complete, here it is. Even if it's something small as like the gates that we just heard from
Right.
Parks and Rec, or whatever that project is, I think that's really the goal of the committee is to, I guess, out with the old, in with the new, if you will. And a lot of these projects, as I mentioned, are now becoming million-dollar projects.
know.
Where back in the day, they were smaller dollar amounts, but because of inflation, it becomes that much more difficult to use the pot of money that we have
Right.
and use it to the best effect, be as effective as you can with that money.
I watched that in real time with my own construction. It's when we started the project in December of 2024 to when we completed it in 2020, in like October 25, the prices were insane. And trying to get ahead of like the rising prices as we were going through that. So I totally understand
Yeah, the
that.
municipalities are no different than
Right.
an average homeowner trying to build a house, so.
Right.
Yeah.
And because of the way that we're organized, that this committee makes recommendations to the select board and then to town meeting. Some of the projects town meeting has to vote on. Additionally to approving it at town meeting, communication's very important.
Right.
So we've been working on trying to get information out to people more.
Right, right. And then what do you do how do you ensure these things come in on budget, right? Again, you can't control the cost of inflation. I've watched myself go through it, like, personally. So how do you ensure that you're keeping these projects on budget?
Well, what we hope happens is that when the committee approves these projects, that they're done in a timely fashion, as I just mentioned. If they're waiting 2-3 years, we had an instance where someone, a department was purchasing an engine last month. This is an open article. The article was voted in a year or two years ago, if the person goes, if that department goes and implement that purchase, what's been voted on may not be enough.
Right.
You know, so that's kind of what we've done over the last couple of years, is keep track of those, to make sure that articles don't sit out there. If they are, they have to repurpose those funds to be used again. But it's it's monitoring the purchase and then going forward on the implementation of whether it's a motor, whether it's a truck, whether it's, you
Right.
know, and then eliminating the old item also.
Right.
For auction or
Right, I heard you
repurposing
saying
it to
that was
another
about the van.
department.
Yeah, and
Right.
I think some departments do, like for project-wise, you know, not purchasing vehicles, because that's pretty easy. I think like for construction, a lot of them carry contingencies, and if the projects come in on budget, then that contingency gets returned to free cash the following year. So,
Okay.
I mean, for the most part, like construction-wise, I think they do carry contingencies. And again, as Gary said, like getting those quotes in a timely fashion, getting it
Right.
work, but that's not always easy to do.
Yeah.
Right. I wanted to ask the woman about the cemetery, how much money was she gonna bring in from selling those cemetery plots, right? Could that offset some of those costs?
Yeah.
I think that probably goes more towards operating, because I don't think it's a lot of money. I mean,
Okay.
it's not a revenue generator. I think it's like, I don't think, I mean.
Yeah, they
just
have
get benefit.
perpetual care accounts that continue the maintenance of those
Right.
plots for years, for
Right.
eternity. So, yeah, whether it's a revenue generator, you know, it's enough to maintain the.
Existing property?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
One of the interesting things that's different about the way that we operate is we don't budget for capital projects. We essentially use our surplus revenue at the end of the year, and that's how we fund our capital projects. With any long-term borrowing excluded, that's separate. We obviously have to budget for the debt payments, but we don't, when we prepare our annual operating budget, we don't budget for capital. There isn't a line item for capital. That happens after essentially our surplus revenue is certified. We know what we have available from the previous year. That's how we fund our capital. So that's a little bit different than kind of how most private sector operates. yeah.
Right,
And
right.
we've been lucky enough over the last few years to average around $5.5 million of, you know, available funds. So we're in a good, the town has always been in a pretty good position to fund a lot of these capital items.
So that's the good news. The bad news is we have like over $100 million
Yeah.
worth of
Yeah.
requests.
Things age quickly.
And we only have a couple of $1 million to spend. So
Right.
it's this tough decisions that this committee makes and will be making today, so.
Yeah. The challenge is just keeping everybody
Afloat, right?
afloat and taken care of and never fall too far off the page, because there was years that the park department didn't get anything. And it'd come up, well, we need the gym set. Yeah, oh, we'll put it off next year, maybe we can talk about it next year. And it would go 6, 7 years without getting funded. And so it's just really a challenge of trying to figure out how to get everybody something that they need.
Yeah, they don't, it usually doesn't go away. Like
Right.
Chris said, it just,
Yeah,
the list just gets
comes
longer.
back.
Right.
That's really what happens.
What do you do when someone, like, if you've approved something and then they're not even starting for 2 years, how does that happen? Like, is it this committee's responsibility to make sure they're starting, or do
Yeah,
they
it's-
ever lose it?
It's a challenge. We're looking at some policies to, you know, a timeline requirement. One of the challenges is, you know, for a $135 million annual operation, we don't have a centralized purchasing department, we don't have a centralized procurement division. And so it falls on essentially that department to make sure the project gets done. And that's on top of, you know, the day-to-day things. So some of these larger projects aren't at the top of the priority list, and they're a lot of work. So we try to support, as an administration, them to get those things done. But, you know, buying a vehicle's simple, right? We have a state contract, you go through that process. But we have the Allen Street Garage, that was something, you know, you need to go through design, you bid it out, then we don't have enough money. Then you bid it out again, potentially add some options within the design, in the bidding. And then you come back, try to get a little bit more money, and next thing you know, it's been 3-4 years, right?
A
So,
little bit longer than that.
It's been a minute.
And double the price.
Yeah.
It's been more than double.
Right,
I wanted to refer to the last question that you asked. I've talked to other people from business, from industry who have come in and worked on boards, and they ask questions like, where does the revenue generate? Where can we find a department? And that's not how the town works. Very few departments can generate revenue.
yeah. My first job ever was at a nonprofit, it was the New York Blood Center, and again, we were relying on royalties and donations, so I understand what it looks like when there's no revenue stream as
Yeah.
well. Yeah. Any other questions? Well, thank you very much.
you very much for coming
This
in.
has been a
Okay.
pleasure. I really would welcome the opportunity to work with you all and to serve on this committee.
So here in about a week.
Okay,
We'll get
thank you
back.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Yep.
You too.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jamie Jacquart, and 20-year town resident. Worked at UMass Dartmouth for 25 years, and so I've got some long roots here in the community. I've been on and off of the town meeting for about the last 18 years. I think there was a stretch of 2 or 3 where I had stepped out for a little bit. Served on the Youth Commission for about a decade. Had an opportunity to have a really great experience working with that group. So long ties with the community. I think I have a really good understanding of sort of the role of this committee, how that dovetails in with municipal finance. I really got involved with town meeting because, I mean, it was a basic question. How much do these Packer trucks cost for us to buy these big, garbage? How does that operation work? And what is an enterprise fund? And how do we end up funding all of those kinds of things? I've lived here long enough to see the lights or street lights turned off. I know the tough decisions that this committee and finance committee and our whole town is asked to sort of wrestle with. And I've seen us kick a lot of decisions down the path as we've waited for some magic thing to happen. At times I have paused of choosing to get involved with, say, FinCom because, it's a tough economic year this next year, that there was worries that, they were gonna have to make some really hard decisions. And I think the reality is there's hard decisions that have to be made every single budget we make. And that I feel like I'm ready to be a part of a team to wrestle with those things, to look at the data, to be able to come up with new solutions and new approaches. I think we've got some really great minds and some new thoughts around how we can do some of those kinds of things. And I'm ready to be a part of a team that really collaborates and does that kind of work. Professionally, just to give you sort of a perspective, I am the Sustainability Director at UMass Dartmouth. I've had an opportunity to represent our organization with the Department of Energy Resources for more than a decade, so I'm really well aware of the Green Communities Act and the potential revenue opportunities and grants that are available through that organization as well. And so that's just a different perspective that I bring. I've worked as a part of our facilities operations team, our capital planning team, so I've been a part of lots of construction projects as well.
Great. Does anybody have any questions, or did you have any specific
You've already
questions?
answered my question, 'cause, yeah.
Did you have any specific questions of us, or?
I mean, what is it that you're looking for in a new member? New members to be able to join the group? What is it that you are looking to add?
Well, I think, as we mentioned, we've been down a couple of members for a while, and sometimes it's just the, meeting quorum. I know that we had an issue with that a while back, but I think it's more another maybe another lens looking at different ways of. We haven't had a new member in a while. I mean, it's been a while, and I don't know. I guess the question is, have you followed some of our meetings? Have you?
Yeah, I had a chance to certainly. I've not watched the meetings, but I follow all of the written notes that are coming out, coming through town meeting.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's just it's another person to weigh in on a lot of these projects. It may see things a little bit different than we do, or add perspective to the conversation.
Yeah, we have people from like various backgrounds here, and they all
Yeah.
kind of add their own thing, which is really good, because if we had everyone that had the same type of, like all financial, all construction, it would skew, and we don't have that here. We have a
Yeah.
very good mix, and I think it works well for
Yes.
what we do.
Yeah, because we have between the police department and school department, technology.
Yeah.
And that's what Chris does. I mean, I have to just sit back and just listen and try to learn something from him, and stuff. And it's just a matter of, and banking.
Yeah.
And finance committee, and me, construction, and history, and of being in this town forever.
I would say history is a big contribution that you make, because you know all the buildings in town, you know what work's been done, what hasn't been done. So that is helpful.
Yeah.
And that's, so we're looking for somebody else that we feel that could fit right in and add something to us.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say that, again, I've got a really good history of working collaboratively. I'm working with a variety of people. I've got a year of, accounting in my background, but again, capital projects has been a part of that, my work experience and working with, long-term projects and the sort of struggle of, how do you get things from an idea into fruition? And how do we sort of do that as quickly as we can? But also, that the nature of this work is cyclical and long range, that we have to be thinking 3 and 5 and 10 years out, anticipating, what are the things that are going to be coming, as well as the things that we already know that are on that $100 million list. So look forward to the opportunity to, collaborate with you. And, yeah.
Okay, great.
Sounds good.
All right, you too. Thank you very much. In about a week, we'll get back to you.
Terrific.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thanks for coming. Rick?
Did you have trouble finding your way up here?
I was told to go to 308. So I sat there for a
Oh,
while.
somebody told you, yeah, maybe.
I was told to go to 308, and I sat there by myself, and I'm like, I guess they don't need me.
That was Bruce. He gave me bad information.
No, I never know.
I'm messing.
That's why he sent me down there.
Yeah.
As you all know, my name is Rick Ferrera. Been with the town for 41 years. Served before you guys for 30 years. I'm a licensed contractor, licensed electrician, have a CDL, hydraulics. Done all these things. As we all know, been with these projects, I've done these projects with the town. Sat on the police department. I know we can save money, where sometimes money, it is what it is, but my biggest thing that I bring to the table is that I see sometimes these projects need to be watched a little careful. And sometimes the people watching them are not always there to help out. And it'd be a great idea to have someone from Capital Improvements start stopping in some of these projects and just watching them, to see where things go. I found that out with the police department when they wanted to, move a wall, and they wanted to charge $5,000, and all it was a snap a line. So it's things like that. That's the only reason I'm here. The reason I've never applied before is, as you know, I worked for the town, worked with all you guys.
You were on the other side of the fence.
I was on I was on the receiving end. I was on the asking end. But that's it. I mean, now that I'm retired, I'm somewhat retired. I just thought it'd be a nice idea to join the committee and help out wherever I could. That's it.
Have you served on any boards in your life in terms of
Oh,
nonprofits?
I always had a thing about working for the town and serving on a board.
Okay.
It's a conflict of interest, in my opinion. A lot of times it isn't.
How about in like church or in business someplace outside?
Oh, well, I was
Fire
on,
department, weren't you?
I was on the fire department, I worked my way up
Prudential?
deputy chief, sat on the prudential committee,
Okay.
things like that. So I'm born and raised in Dartmouth,
Yeah.
so I have all that, what's going on, how things are done. So that's all. I just want to, now that I'm retired, and I thought it'd be a nice idea to join a committee that, especially you guys are shorthand, I can see that. I didn't know you were down too.
Now, have you watched some of the meetings, Rick? Have you,
Since I retired?
won't have a chance to watch any of our meetings, no?
Oh, I've watched a lot of the meetings. I sat in on them and went to town meeting and spoke on a couple of the issues,
Okay.
And the only reason, and the only thing I'll say one thing about the projects. I served on that stadium project, and the biggest reason we ran into is it was piecemealed in. And every time it got another one added, costs kept going up. So what we thought was gonna be somewhere near $5 million, ended up being almost 14 million.
Yeah.
So
Crazy.
it's, and sometimes there's things you can do, knowing when you have things. You could probably piecemeal in a project. You can recommend that, piecemeal it in, and, Bruce, you guys get the knowledge with everything, they're right there, on how to piecemeal it in, Don't put, you're not gonna leave the last thing to be the internal part of it. Maybe something where there could be an add-on down the road.
Yeah, phase some of the projects in.
Right, some of these
Talk about
projects
that
that-
in a while.
Save like something for the end that could be added on, a garage or whatever. Because I know that some of the big things coming up, and everybody's talking about it, is all these new developments. And so now we gotta talk about, especially number one is the treatment plant. That's gonna be huge. That's gonna be a huge one. So I know you guys, that's what you guys do. And these guys, what they do is they just say, okay, you know? And unfortunately, you gotta say who's gonna, not get as many things as possible. But we have, and I see it now, like, I still work with the town, I plow, so I get to see their inner workings. I get to see, still with the schools and the police and all that, so.
All right.
All righty?
Okay.
Any
I don't
questions?
have to ask Rick anything. I've known him all my life.
I worked,
We're good.
we had enough questions asked with me. Cody, I worked with, on many of those, renovation projects,
Yeah.
so. All righty,
Thank you.
I'll be hearing
All
from
right.
you.
Rick,
About a week, we'll get back to you in about a week. All right.
I have to go to a meeting.
All right, guys, have a good day.
thank you.
Yeah, I have a meeting at 10, so I
Tough
have to go.
decision
But
for
ju-
pretty
just as
qualified
a-
people.
No, I'd recommend 2 people, because, because it has to go to the select board. Select board makes
Okay,
the
yeah.
appointment.
Well, we can
So-
make a recommend, if you feel like you have enough
Well,
information
you can
today.
wait, the next select board meeting isn't until March 30th, so I'll just need it a week, a week before, roughly,
Yeah.
the Wednesday
You know,
before.
so why don't we, what I would say is that, we think about the candidates that we had today. I think they're really good. All 4 of them are really good,
That's what
They're
I'm
really,
saying,
really
yeah.
good. And we go over the master plan, that's next on the agenda. And then maybe we schedule one more last meeting for the picks, for the candidates. And then also the recommendation to town meeting for the items, for the master, for the master
Yeah,
plan.
to finalize them and stuff like that.
Well,
because
that'll
Things
give-
change from now to then.
I guess that'll give others the opportunity, because we had
Yeah,
11, the only
yeah,
4 that showed
yeah.
up, so.
Some of them didn't respond, some of them, just, they never called back after we left a message.
If I can get a list of the names at least, I can,
Yeah, I'll send you-
Maybe
I'll send you
there's
the-
somebody I know and there's a reason for it or whatever. Maybe
Yeah.
there's another explanation that somebody else might know. Sure. I'm not the only person that knows people in town.
So, when somebody else is checking, I can't read.
In fact, I'm forgetting more than I know.
I thought I sent them out to everybody.
No,
I didn't get any resumes.
Okay, I'll try to read, maybe it didn't go
It's
through. but
okay, I mean, I think we heard from them today. what
Yeah.
their background is.
And then, we can go from there. Like I said, I don't know if there's gonna be additional candidates that would wanna,
Yeah, I just, if I see it, if I just say, oh, well, you realize, we only meet this, for this hour or whatever. Like some of them said they can't do it
Yeah.
every morning or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't get a full explanation.
yeah, some of them may not be able to make the commitment to come in
Yeah.
at the times, or,
We should have asked them. I didn't think of that.
mean, they
well,
were
I think
here, so-
that, the 4 here are aware of the
Okay.
times, yeah. But, yeah, I'll get you the list of the candidates, including these 4, and then you can maybe some of the names, or,
Just in case,
Is
it's
there a
just,
closing date for applications?
no, we didn't put
okay.
them. We kinda gave them a couple of weeks just to respond, but,
I mean, because we already have, we have some decent candidates, for
Yeah.
sure.
I was thinking it was kind of funny as we were going through, this is a more formal process for sure
Oh, yeah.
than we've had for a while, so that was good.
There was no interview process for me,
Well,
Chris.
yeah, it used
I
to be,
just-
yeah, I think.
Hey, welcome to the committee.
Was it, I think it was Gary that said, hey, I got,
Literally.
I got Luke.
Yeah. Coming in.
And that's what it was, he used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think I
the amount of
presented
planning
I had to
that's
talk
going
in
on
front
right
of
now
the
is great.
Select board.
I didn't talk in front of
Process
anybody.
that's in
I had to
place.
present
Oh,
to
for
the
the-
select board
for the-
no, for this.
For the
so,
appointment,
we
yeah.
had, some of the candidates, just read their names, it's, Duwat, Ruggiero, Kevin Rego, Maria, we met with, let's see, Dylan Cromwell. Mark, we met with Matthew Maderas.
Is that Matthew Medeiros? That's the
There's so
the
many.
Allendale?
There's so many Matthew
It's
Maderas.
probably,
Oh,
yeah.
I thought, you're talking
He's
about.
a superintendent.
Yeah, the
Isn't that
superintendent.
Matt
now.
Medeiros?
There is a Matt Maderas that's the superintendent, but
Yeah.
I'm sure we have more Matt Maderas.
Oh, I'm sure there's a million.
Popular name.
The amount of Maderas in town, we're definitely gonna have a
Oh,
first
yeah.
name, same thing.
Joe Smith,
Yeah.
We run out
So,
of first
I'll
names.
forward the information off to the group, including these here, so that everybody has it, and then I would say we schedule another meeting just to go over, the committees, what you feel is, the best, but as mentioned, I think we had 4 pretty good candidates today.
Yep.
Okay, so, let's see, back into, the capital plan. So what I'd like to do is just start off with, in the fall, this is what the committee voted on in the fall, just a kind of backdoor into that, and then move forward. The Dartmouth Police had, a few items, just so you can see and kind of get a refresher of what was funded in the fall when we were certified with the free cash. In total, we used 4.9 million in free cash in the fall. That includes the enterprise funds also. And also, I'll also bring up on the screen here the availability of what we have left. So 3.1 million, we had conversations of potentially leaving some of that and letting that flow into the fall town meeting, the next fall town meeting, because if we don't spend it all, it just gets added to the balance of our next certification in the fall.
Would it be a useful exercise to look at the departments, like for the past 3 years, to see what percentage of what they requested and then received was? I'm just thinking about how other people sometimes feel like, what's the ratio that, people have given up? And I
Oh, you
think-
mean by department?
Yeah.
I've kind of done that already. I looked at, actually, I can pull in the last few years. I looked at last year, so I looked at the schools. Actually, I had more than one. I had multiple town meetings in there on what was, I'd have to find it, but I can send it out to the group, on what was actually
That would be
approved
great.
at
That
town
would be
meeting.
great, yeah, to understand.
Yeah, I've got that. I
Because
can
it's
send that.
difficult. It seems like some smaller departments, we say, makes sense, yep, but then you look at the schools and they need so much, what can be approved of them, I think you have to balance that.
Yeah, let me,
If I were the queen of the world, I wouldn't be approving the cars for the police department. Their cars look like they're in great shape. The process that they have was put in place when their cars were falling apart, right? When they weren't getting cars on a regular basis, and I feel like now they are.
Yeah, they were getting 1 or 2 a year, and
Yeah.
that's about it, but they were getting high mileage, and
Yeah,
at that point, the maintenance,
Right.
was transmissions going, and that's,
Yep.
those things that
Which
just
makes sense.
start.
right.
so I did look at it, Terry, here it is right here. So between FY '23 and FY '25, here is what has been approved, and here's the town meetings. So for police, almost 1 million, schools, 2.9 million in various projects. This is over the course of 3 fiscal years. General government, 759,000. Public works, 9.3 million. Parks and recreation, 2 million. So I know because we don't look at it in the aggregate, but you can see how large the commitment has been from surplus revenue over the last few years. I mean, $9 million, and you would never think that $9 million would have been spent
Right.
in just DPW, in public works alone.
That's admin too, that's not enterprise funds either.
Right, that doesn't include, I only looked at admin over here, so.
Right, which makes sense.
Right.
Because those are the funds.
Right, so think about it, if you added all this up, you're north of, 15 million. So it's hard to grasp that. Over the last 3 fiscal years, the committee has voted almost 15 million, plus the enterprise funds. So that's a lot of free cash, that's a lot of retained earnings that's been put back into the operations. And I had looked at this just because I was interested in it, looking at what had been approved by the committee. It's a lot, it's a lot.
If you look at the percentage, it looks like a majority of it goes to, or 50% of it, or maybe actually a little bit more than that, 75% goes to
Look at that,
DPW.
dude. That's pretty funny. It was if the Council on Aging, what was it?
Right there?
Improvement study, $15,000. And now we're, the library's asking for $50,000 to do it.
But what's tricky about the Council on Aging is there's a whole fund that we don't know what goes on with, that has contributed to.
Oh, there,
moving
yeah.
it. So you don't get the full picture, is what I'm saying. Like, when I first came on the Finance Committee, I asked Greg about the grants, because obviously that's funding stuff that we need, that we're not taking out. But there's not a separate, at the time, there wasn't a catalog of that. So I think about, like, one of the things that town meeting members have complained about is, well, I've seen that old vehicle over there, why do we need to keep it? We've done that, and I feel comfortable saying to people, it's been inventoried, they're auctioning off.
Yep, we're trying to
whatever
repurpose
is
items
not
and-
useful, so it's not on our insurance.
Right.
That feels
Been a
very
lot of
comfortable.
purging.
Yes.
With Tim, what has been done with the money in terms of the roads, he's gotten better every year with saying, this is what's been accomplished with that amount of money. People just need to know where their money is going because they don't have a sense of it.
Yeah, so I guess, yeah, like Chris said, 50% of it would be, and then when we look at public works, I mean, a lot of these items that have been approved are large ticket items. I mean, no longer can you buy a generator for $50,000. These generators are costing $200,000, $300,000. We saw that with the schools with just the generator repair that the finance committee had approved. Just the repair alone is $40,000.
I know.
I mean, so these are becoming
crazy.
large ticket items. So, I could send this out to the group so you have it too. Just, I was curious. I had the same question too. So,
I mean, and I would be curious,
Have on that same chart what was requested versus what was approved?
that was,
what was requested?
Like what the departments wanted? They
And how
came
much was
into
spent?
capital, could we have this, this, and this?
That's on the master schedule.
They're not together though, right?
No, no.
Okay. I
So
know
you have
we'll
both.
figure it out.
Yeah, you have both. Could we combine, we probably could combine them.
Well, the nice thing is though, is that like, whatever didn't get funded keeps getting kicked back to the following year and the following year. So
Yeah.
like some of that stuff, like,
for like 2 years,
is
it
still
needs to go
on
back.
here, so.
Yeah.
2 years to use the money.
So if we're
We-
carrying
we-
it, it can't be number one.
Well, no, so what we do is,
Should we
like,
revisit it
it should
after
be
we
no
get
more than like a
you
couple,
How
what
you
we,
gonna be able to get it done? and
what we
how
try
you
to
gonna
do
be
now is,
spending
it should be no more than a couple of years that the
And I'd like to
groups
know
or, the departments are,
Council on Aging, how much did you actually
requesting
spend?
this information. If they're looking
what
to
I'm
buy a
saying?
vehicle,
Right.
Just so we
they
know.
shouldn't be waiting
Well,
4
they
years
put
to
the-
buy the vehicle. They should be,
that there,
and
bids.
that, we kind of see that when I run the open articles.
It's an estimate.
I go through and I ask, okay, why is there a truck still on here?
Right.
Or why is there an item still on the open article list? That should have already been purchased.
And that's why I think they may not have been number one. Like when Becky was talking about her items, it seemed like they were all urgent, kind of.
Right, right.
But then if she had to
Now you gotta
really
do
sit down and say, what's gonna fall apart if I don't do it this year?
Right, right.
That's a different question.
Yeah.
That's a killer.
So,
Procurement is a killer. I remember that day she was here with the pilot light.
Wait.
So, does it make sense for us to kind of get going to start on some of like the easy things that we can get through? Like, for example, I kind of started working a worksheet, solid waste enterprise fund. There's not a lot of requests there, and we do have some retained earnings that we can. Looks like we have 450,000, and I think they had 3 requests from solid waste enterprise fund.
Okay, so if you're looking up at the screen, you're focusing just on the purple? So that's this year's request, so I'm gonna go down to solid waste, and those are their requests. So they had a Mack truck, a Packer, excuse me,
Which is 400,000, which
Yep.
like, we can't afford because we have 450 in retained earnings. But
Steel-
the other 2 things, which was 36,000.
yep, and 50.
And 55.
Yep.
Totals about 91,000. I think those are kind of like layups. We can approve those and it only reduce, so they'll still have $350,000 roughly in their retained earnings, which I think
Makes sense?
Yeah,
is valid. So I think that's kind of an easy one to, let's start with a low-hanging fruit is what I
Right, right, right.
want to do.
Now, Gary,
yes,
projected is 500 and something next year?
yes, so, all right, so I'll just go over briefly. I mean, it's the same schedule we're using, but, so they're requested for the spring annual town meeting. So everything that's in this column is what they've requested. The total requests for level 1 are 116 million, but keep in mind, I got notes in here. 100 million is the schools, 6 million a high school roof, $5.2 million of the aeration project for the sewer department. So those are the big, if you subtracted those, your 111 million, So, those are, the big ticket items that are in that number. Level 2 priority requests, 12.3 million, includes 1.2 million in road maintenance, 5.6 million in stadium renovations, $1.2 million for the Route 6 main replacement at Florence Corner Road, so Florence Corner and Hathaway Road. So those are the big ticket items there, and then,
So that's a have to, and the aeration is a have to, right? I mean, they have to do that.
these are gonna be, so these are gonna be long-term borrows.
Right, but I
Which we've
wanna-
talked about.
All I was talking about is actually the waste, solid waste.
Solid waste, okay.
Okay, because the projected budget next year is 550.
Yeah.
Yes, so,
What I'm gonna try to make a point is, yes, we would be depleting them quite a bit, but are any of those, like, for him to order a truck now,
you mean here? You mean? up
yeah,
here?
it's gonna take him a year to 2 years to get it. What I'm saying is, we're earmarking it, but we haven't spent that money. So,
Well,
when does it, you know,
When we recertify.
I know
free-
it's tricky,
When we certify their retained earnings for next year, we're hoping that it's gonna be more than, the balance is gonna go up,
right,
right? So we would have additional funds in there to potentially purchase a truck next year.
Right.
Which I think is why Tim put in the 550 for FY '28.
for the
You know,
recycling, other recycling.
Right,
Refurbish.
That's the
yeah,
refurbish.
it's a refurbish existing
depends.
solid waste recycling truck.
Might buy a new one, it'll be cheaper.
You know how
Well, we might, but that was at that point when we were talking about the
The
diesel and
electric,
electric.
yeah.
You know, David Pressman thought ahead about the library, and they put aside 750 every year. Is that something that could be done in other departments, so that we say, we're gonna approve half a truck, it won't be spent, but we need to get started on that request and then put it aside, and then another half next year, rather than,
Well, their retained earnings accounts for each one of these enterprise funds kind of does that. You know, it allows at least the accounting mechanism internally to track what's being spent. You know, that's how we do it individually at every single one of those on the sheet that I had just put up. So we can, I don't know if we can earmark it, but they just wouldn't spend it.
that's
I
what I'm
guess
talking about, though, is to say to town meeting, we know we're gonna have to pay, like he did.
X amount of
We know we're
dollars.
gonna have to pay this amount, let's put this aside for now. And then next year, put a little bit more, you know, like the
Well-
long-term capital.
What gets tricky here, though, I think Bruce has got a good point. When you look at, so this is a 10-year projection. So when you, when you start looking at like his total cost just for departmental, in fiscal 31, okay, it goes from 500, you know, over here is 165, but then the requests go to 820, then they go to $1.8 million. So the question is, in those fiscal years, will there be enough retained earnings? Probably not, to even go with the short-term items.
Yeah.
Let alone large projects. So that's where this starts to get a little bit tricky, is the
but-
years out.
But isn't solid waste changing how they're collecting, like the trash and stuff like that? Isn't the cost gonna go up for that? So that'll.
Well,
We
they have
don't
another-
make
they
the
have
amount of money
another-
on the cardboard anymore because of the paper.
Yeah.
That's been taken out of the picture and it's been going.
Wasn't the town developing something for solid waste and how they're going to, like, do costs, or was that?
Well, they looked at, you're talking about the landfill?
Yeah, well, no, just like the costs of bags and stuff are gonna go up in price.
Oh, yeah, well, they were looking at, first of all, extension of the landfill, which brings us, and if that gets worked out with DEP, that'll bring us to another like 30 years, extension of the landfill. But there is a cost for, you know, there will be a cost for bags, you know, cardboard, any kind of those recyclables. If you look at like the metals, you know, where we used to just get rid of metals, now we're paying to get rid of metals. We're not making money on that anymore. So a lot of these things have gone flip-flop.
So I guess my
Flip-flop.
question
Oh, we're not
is-
making as much as we used to, you know?
Yeah, I guess my question is the enterprise fund fee that they're charging for trash, has that been looked at to, because obviously it's doing okay right now because the retained earnings go up, but at some point to
Yeah,
cover.
break even will be.
To
yeah.
cover the cost of these, they're gonna
Right.
have to look at
Yeah.
those fees potentially going up, because otherwise it's not gonna be enough money.
If you remember, they just increased the fee from $90 to 100 and,
That's
110.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
my point, so the
that
retained
may be
earnings-
another.
Right.
The water sewer is another example of that.
Right, so if that's the case, I mean, I'm I don't like depleting funds because then you can run into an issue like you did with water where you depleted the fund and then you have to purchase water
Right.
from the, I'm not saying anything that would happen catastrophic there, but if something does happen and they need that retained earnings for something else,
There's been discussion recently about potentially having to relook at those fees again. I mean, obviously, we could see it here, if the capital requests are getting larger and larger
right.
to run the operations, then they're gonna have to probably look at another.
So I know where Bruce is coming from. If we don't order the truck now, it's probably gonna go up in price.
Yeah, it's gonna be another,
10,000, or 10%, $40,000, right, if it goes up 10%. But at the same time, if we don't have the money if they don't have the money to afford that stuff, then what do we do? Because if their requests are 500 this year, Gary was 491,000, and they only have 450 in retained earnings. So
Yeah.
they don't even have enough money to cover the
Yeah.
capital requests they have this
Yeah,
year.
and I think what we've learned with the water, like Terry had said, we kind of, and I've always said this to the committee, we want to leave a buffer in there, where we don't want to drain it down to, pennies. We kind of want to leave something in there in case something happens, where we can go to retained earnings if there's an increase in mid-year. We kind of want to watch
Some
that
kind of
also.
contingency, I would think.
Yes, yeah.
We talk about contingencies, I think it's important we leave them.
see, last year, what you appropriated, what? 540,000?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the truck?
Cycling truck.
Yeah.
Recycled.
Remember, Bruce, they were talking about going from
Right.
electric to, I think that was only a repair, because the electric was gonna be like a million.
That was to
Originally
rebuild the
replaced.
diesel truck,
Yeah,
right.
right.
And we had talked about potentially returning that so he can purchase a diesel truck now that there's the availability to do
Right.
that. So I don't know if we talked to Tim about that this.
I thought that's
this year.
what we did do, I thought.
I don't know if
that's what
he was gonna talk to you and.
I'll follow up with him.
Cody to return that, and then at that point, then he'll have ample money to buy the new truck and potentially, buy this truck. But I think for now,
Well, the point I was just trying to make is, that $400,000 is really not gonna get spent this coming year, probably.
yeah.
It'll be almost a year later than that, so.
That's what I'm thinking, like, if,
And he's got 550 or for the next truck.
Right.
Well, if that
Keep
truck
pushing
has
it
to,
back,
if
it's
that
gonna
truck has to get bumped out, at least you've got this and you've saved money by doing it now.
it's kind of like layaway, I'm thinking
Yeah.
about. It's like, if they're not gonna, already, they're not gonna get the truck for a year. Could you give the company, order it, give the company a down payment, and then request the money the next year? You have to
Well,
put
we
that
have
in
to,
the reserve
we have to
fund, or-
commit, we have to commit the whole amount. I
Yeah,
believe.
when you sign the contract for the entire, because what happens if,
If the town meeting doesn't approve it.
oh,
Yeah.
oh, right, or the funds are not available, you'll have half a truck.
Yeah, you got your neck out there.
So
Yeah.
I suppose the other thing we could do is approve the truck and not approve the other two items that he has.
What are the other two?
It was solid waste container and, I don't have it right in front of me.
Oh, solid waste
Solid waste
containers.
container and
just
a,
dumpsters.
Two solid waste containers and rebuilding the scale house, which I think
Yeah.
was something that,
he talked about making the house a little bit
Right,
bigger,
or
updating
nicer,
it.
yeah. I mean,
so that's the other option that I had is you could just do the truck and not do the other two things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're replacing the transfer station house. I know that they want to do that, but I don't feel like it's a.
It's a must-have, yeah.
Yeah, they're all priority twos.
Unless you talk to the guys
they're all
that are working.
priority twos?
Yep,
Unless you talk to the guys that are working.
got them all as priority two.
The Packer, is the
Out of
Packer,
four.
the Packer
It's
is
all
a two?
two.
Yeah, it's a two.
So,
Maybe the scale house can be a lot done by a Voc program
Yeah.
or something like that.
Seriously.
Uh-oh, Chris smiled on that one.
No, I mean, I'm okay with that, it's just lining them up, they're all great ideas, but that could push it off like 3 or 4 years, because they have projects lined up, you gotta get in line and stuff, so yeah, I mean, there's certainly worth exploring.
so everybody's thinking to do,
Do the Packer and not do the other
All
two
right.
things. And that will leave 50,000 in retained earnings, is that
it's,
pretty low?
yeah, it's low, I mean, we would recertify in the fall, and there was a rate increase, so we're hoping that brings a little bit more money in. But again, I think looking forward and ahead, as these start to creep up, there's gonna have to be, that's gonna have to be
Oh, absolutely.
relook, you're gonna have to relook at that again. You know? Because again, it's a self-sustained
don't have.
enterprise, it's just like water and sewer.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
So, okay, that's that one, we'll leave that one for now.
And I think after this, we can revisit it with Tim and give him the question on park.
Yeah, I would say just maybe today we're throwing out ideas, and then we schedule another meeting, as I mentioned, and meet with the, make the recommendation for the candidates and finalize this.
So that was supposed to be low-hanging fruit. The other one that I have, which I think should be pretty easy, is DCTV. They have tons of money. They have
Yeah.
$985,000 in retained earnings, and their requests are for $350.
I agree.
Yeah.
So I think,
How'd they make out with CPC, do you know?
No, I don't.
That was
Did
a
you go to
long
the meeting,
meeting, I
Terry?
guess.
Did you go to the CPC meeting?
No,
Janine did, I
there were
think.
3 meetings that week, yeah, I went to 2 of them.
I didn't watch the meeting. I know
No,
Janine
Heidi
went.
went, but it was just because they had so many, so they didn't make any decisions yet on it.
Oh, they haven't decided on the, oh, well, we'll have them in, talk to the group too.
We love to talk to Buddy. I was thinking when these people were talking that we are very fortunate that the department heads know the process and they're not contentious meetings. They understand some can get some towns, I'm sure it's not.
Yeah,
pretty
nobody's
like
here
that.
banging their fist saying,
Yeah.
but I need this.
so,
Okay, so those 3 there, I'm gonna put these in red. All right,
so those, I think that finishes DCTV. I think that's pretty straightforward. The next enterprise fund was waterways,
waterways, yes. They have 152, 330.
and the request is 90, but the thing is, he said that the truck was still good. And I think that, Bruce brought up some valid points last time that, I think you were gonna look, number one, if that article ever got spent on the motors.
Oh, yeah, I gotta look at that.
Because if it didn't and they need a motor and there's not enough in there, then he needs retained earnings to finish paying for that.
I think the motor's more important than a truck that still runs.
It's only got
And if you
50,000
look at,
miles.
I mean, if you look
And-
at
And he
the,
also was very, unsure of whether they want to go with like an SUV type vehicle or a truck.
yeah,
Right.
So I think until they can figure that out, I think that's something really difficult, because it doesn't sound like there's consensus there. It's kind of like, I
yeah,
don't
and
know
that
if
would,
anyone else agrees on that.
that would leave him about $60,000
Yeah,
in the fund. If he drew that down, we'd be down to about 60, which is low.
Yeah.
yeah, and the other, I know somebody said 10 years, and if that's because if it's a first responder, is the truck the first responder, or is the boat the first responder,
Valid point, yeah.
Correct.
you know?
Right.
I would imagine not the truck. I would think a boat would be the
Right.
first response on that. And he has a boat that's only like 5 years
You've
old.
got fire
Not that
rescue,
old at all.
yeah, you've got fire rescue, you've got forestry trucks that have the winches, we've got plenty of equipment that can do.
Yeah.
Can get there.
So maybe we hold off on that one a little
Yeah,
bit.
I
but
think we
hold
I'll
off
check
on
on
the
the
truck.
article for the motors.
No, that can be done in the fall.
So the water enterprise fund, there's not much money there, so we can't approve anything.
Yeah, I would suggest with that account, because we had the rate increase and we're still looking at what those revenues look like between now and June, that we hold off on that water enterprise.
And then I think the sewer, from what I looked at, we spent a lot of money in the fall,
Sewer, we spent,
$725,000.
yes, right here. It was preliminary treatment, the screen, grit chamber rebuild, and WPCF upgrade evaluation.
Yep.
I think his requests are pretty high, and I don't know if we're gonna have enough money to fund anything in that, but I could be wrong.
What do we have for the total for sewer?
$399. And I think.
So it was $399, $783.
And I think his requests are pretty low.
6.6 million
Yeah.
Let's see, I have it over here too.
aeration.
Water pollution control.
See.
Yeah, aeration was 5.2 million, a brush grinder was 990. I guess we could fund SCADA. which are at $90,000. And even the I and I is
See,
250.
sewer.
I mean, it's,
That's
I think that's
water,
water,
sewer.
water pollution control.
Yeah,
Sewer.
inflow, outflow, yeah.
Which one did you say, Chris? Inflow up,
So,
250?
so there's the aeration project, which was 5.2 million. Or
Level 1, yep. And then he had a level 1 for I and I.
I and I,
That's
which was
consistent for
250,000.
Ever,
There's a SCADA,
90.
Yep, 90,
90,000.
level 1.
And then the brush grinder, which is $990,000.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And this is, if I'm correct, this is the sewer enterprise?
Yes.
correct.
Yep.
So I think the only thing we could fund, if we wanted to draw it down, would be the SCADA at $90,000.
Right, yeah.
Everything else, I think, just,
What do we do with the inflow outflow? Because it looks like he has 250 for the next, for Infinity. If we prolong that, is it gonna cause an issue?
I think we have prolonged it in the past.
Yeah, there has been some
Okay.
commitment, I don't know if it was last spring town meeting, there was a commitment to the I and I. I'd have to go
Okay.
back and look. But, okay, so the SCADA, okay. Yeah, I mean, also, I think the committee also has to keep in mind that $5 million was spent in the fall. That was a record amount, I think,
Right.
to be spent in the fall. And usually, everything is spent in the fall, nothing's really left for the spring, so, you know, that's a,
I think this year we decided to leave a little bit money to spend in the spring in case there were
Right.
like requests that were immediate. And again, you know, we didn't do the SCADA for them in the fall. And that actually would help with maintaining what they have there, right?
Yes.
That's what the SCADA's for, is to
It's their
monitor
system.
and maintain,
Yep.
right? So,
yeah.
but
Okay.
I think all the other requests are just so expensive that like it would draw that account down quite a bit.
Yeah, we want to have some level of reserve in there on both those for water, obviously water and sewer. So,
And I think that finishes the enterprise funds.
okay, yep.
Yeah.
And now it's really the general funds that we really have to, you know. I think DPW is like the massive asks that they have,
Yep.
and I don't know, there's a lot of them.
A lot of it's road design, I mean, they've got,
They've, just in road maintenance, it's 1.25 million, which,
Are you meeting with Tim on a regular basis to review the books? I thought I heard that you were gonna be, or Cody was gonna be meeting
oh,
with him.
we have, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we have.
Okay.
Yep. We met with them, I think, like a few weeks ago.
Okay.
They're all twos.
Yeah, two,
the three, Dartmouth,
was it two?
yeah, Hawthorne Street is 2, Dartmouth Street, 50% design is 3, the Preserve Pump Station is 400,000, that's a 2.
Yep.
And then it goes to,
Chris, you did a lot of work on this.
I just, I don't know.
What's the pumps, when does that preserve pump station upgrades need to be live?
The way they're moving up there?
Yeah, I know.
Not sure we can check.
Yeah, Bank of Weldon, that?
No. It's moving pretty slow.
Oh, yeah, it's been almost 5
So
years.
that might be a valid
Those
question,
guys,
but,
are like nationwide. They're like from Michigan or something, I think.
It's been almost 5 years all told.
everything else that I see is 2s, the road maintenance, the Freightliner, the plow trucks, is a 2.
Yeah, you're looking at the different divisions, right?
Yeah, right now
Yeah.
I'm looking at the DPW Services and Infrastructure Highway Division.
Yep. 1.2 for road maintenance, that's,
I mean, I think it's important that we put some money in there. I don't think it's gonna be 1.25 million. I don't
yeah,
think-
last year, wasn't it nine?
I think we
wasn't-
might
you
have put less than
requested-
that.
Yeah, I think it was
put-
less.
I think it was significantly less, Gary. that we
Yeah.
put. But I think it's important that we put some money in there, just because, especially after this
They spent $4 million
yeah.
this year, I
winter,
think.
winter season.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's like, they're not potholes, they're like craters
Yeah.
out there.
Let me
And they're doing a
see.
great job of trying to fix them, but it's just,
Did
they
we
need to have some
give
money.
him anything?
There's a
in the-
sinkhole on 140 this morning.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, actually
13
12.
cars damaged.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was like a
Huge.
massive sinkhole, yeah.
All I know is I lost my teeth going in Lowe's the other day.
Literally a sinkhole.
Wow.
So if I
So-
recall correctly, I think I wrote down that the preserve pump was something that was
Crazy.
important, and then road maintenance was another thing that was, that like seemed to be important, to me anyway, that I think Tim said something that, like, you know, it was not critical, but very important to get done, so those were kind of on my radar. But everything else was kind of like, we don't have the money to fund.
if you did road maintenance, so 3.1 million, so we had to keep, let's say it's 2.1 million we have, so if you did, like, 750,000 for road maintenance, 750. Yeah, these are all level twos.
Yeah, even the road maintenance, I think that's a lot to, because that would chew up a big
Yeah.
chunk of what we have.
Or maybe
Like, I was thinking like,
500,000,
yeah, or like a quarter of it, so
yeah.
400,000 or something like that, or 300,000, excuse me.
All right, so I'll make that 400,000, I'll park that green. Yeah, how about, you want to maybe go, okay, so that's DPW, how about from the top, you want to go, so usually start with
Yeah,
the
we can
police.
start from the
yeah.
top and work
Well,
our
no,
way
yeah.
down.
Usually go to the police, so anybody have any thoughts with the police? The cruisers, the tasers, the admin, and the I think really, the staffing study is, I know he has it as a level 3, but, I think,
That's vital
That-
for the safety.
what is it?
Could
Safety
we,
is-
could,
Well,
feel
I think what happens with the staffing study is it will get us on the track to look at efficiency.
I agree.
You know, whether or not we need more officers, whether or not we need less officers. So I think it's an investment.
And the type of departments, so
Right, I think
which
it's an-
dictates,
there's other
my
people
opinion,
that
it's an
think that,
investment.
too. What would
Vehicles
people,
and-
what would people think about changing the schedule to one car every year?
One
I
kind,
mean, it depends, I think, I don't know how many cars they have in their fleet, and that'd be a good question to maybe ask.
We have to
see.
discuss it with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think right now, I think the tasers are something that, like, we have to fund, because it was a 5-year commitment, I think, that they
Yeah.
made, and it's relatively,
yeah, 37,000.
right.
Yeah, and that's only my opinion. I think that the study and, yeah, the tasers, I would agree. The vehicles,
Can you, I think you looked at it, and I'm sorry, I didn't write it down, but the cruisers we've funded I think, for the last few years.
let's see what we
yeah, we
did.
normally do 2 in the spring.
So we
and
did
2 in the
four,
fall.
we did 4 for the spring, for the fall.
Right.
So we did 4 cruises for the fall. And I believe last year we actually skipped like a whole
Year.
town meeting, and we didn't do any cruises.
Right.
So this kind of got him back to maybe, you know, some compliment. I know that we really can't go by how they look. It's really the mechanisms and
Right,
the
right.
maintenance involved. I mean, these, you know, as you know, they're idling, they're, you know,
Yeah, it's the hours, it's not the mileage, it's the hours on the.
right,
engines.
it's the condition of the motor, it's a lot of things that go into it. They may look great, but
Actually, the staffing study is a priority 4 on the sheet that I have here, that he gave us.
I know.
oh, really? I thought I don't know.
He
if
does have it low, but
Yeah.
I hate to say it, I mean, I agree with Terry, these different things that, the more we know that we're being evaluated and running properly, we can keep on pushing that aside, we could be going in the wrong direction.
I
We
think
could be
that's-
bringing on more police officers at an extra expense, where if we only need 5 less.
I'm
you know-
just not that, I'm skeptical about these studies because I haven't seen one that saved us any money.
Yeah.
The
Always want more.
reclassification, all the consultation, the feasibility studies, nobody comes up with a good idea to save money.
Well, I think there's,
Something you have to do, I know that.
yeah, but I also think that, like, this is a different kind of study. This is an evaluation of efficiency, where you do a reclass and you're looking at jobs that are positions that were we're trying to be competitive, we're trying to, you know,
It is
pay a little
different.
bit more, so it's a whole,
It's different, and there are other people that think that this study is a good idea. that
yeah,
feel it's on the
I've heard
finance
some
committee.
people think that it's,
I think it's one of those things, though, where it's like, and I mentioned it to the chief, like, it's the study or something else. We're very limited in what we can spend. And, you know, I didn't really get the warm and fuzzy that the study was more important, say, than like an admin vehicle. And I think I remember asking him that, you know? So, if we think the study is more important, then, you know, certainly, but
What do you think?
what do I think? I think that it's never been done, so my opinion is that, can they go maybe another round with not getting a vehicle? Probably, I mean, you know, but I think this gets the department back on track with how many police officers they really need. It's never been done before, I mean, and I think the comment was also made that, you know, a lot of the officers that are working now are pretty much getting burnt out because they're working all these shifts. You know, it's hard to get people into the department, just because of, the work-life balance, that they have. But, you know, I feel this is an investment to, one way or another. We're gonna have to either say, oh, we've got enough, we need more, or,
But I think,
move
I think
forward.
trading it for an administration vehicle is a fair trade.
I would say that, yeah.
Yeah.
I would say in this sense it is, yeah.
And he, you know, the chief did mention that crews were important, and I think that, like, you know, I mean, if there is money to fund one, then, like,
Yeah.
as Terry suggested, that's better than zero.
Yeah, and we've put off vehicles before in the past, so. Okay, so you want it, what does the committee feel like? I agree with the tasers, I think that,
Yeah,
that's,
a no-brainer, I
Yeah.
think, because we've kind of, they've committed to that.
maybe the study and then one of these,
Maybe one, so it's like 45
One car,
grand,
yeah.
or whatever, divided by 2.
yeah, so we'll put 45,000.
We don't have a lot of money, but I think we're doing well with putting reserves aside, planning for the future, you know, and that hasn't been done for a long time.
Yeah, and you know, these vehicles, look at them, every year they just keep,
Yeah, they go up by like
yeah,
10, not quite 10%, but.
yeah. And I believe he said that the vehicles
They
that
were
were,
like 240 a couple of years ago, 250 for 4.
yeah,
Crazy.
the vehicles that we had approved in the fall, I think they're getting those in, or they,
Yeah, 296, I think, is what
Yeah.
that total cost was, so it's. gone
that's
up.
that'll be 4 brand-new vehicles to replace.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can hold off on that until we figure out the other departments, and if there's anything left, if we can throw them one, great. If not, then it is what
Yeah.
it is, you know?
So, 142,000 there. Public Works Admin, which ones did you say, Chris, were, did we, oh, we haven't, oh, yeah,
We've done, DPW, I think you did 400K, right, for.
Yep.
Reserve?
For road maintenance.
road maintenance, yep,
Yeah.
So we're at 542 right now.
yep,
And realistically, we really only have like another 500,000, because we have 3.1 million, and I think we'd like to keep.
at least $1 million to roll over.
Yeah. And I think that number should be probably a little higher.
I agree.
So that leaves us with the library, which is a $50,000 study.
The library.
So the only thing we're doing in Public Works is just
Is the road maintenance, 400,000.
So the library,
Was $50,000 for that study.
She has a good point about that library being backwards nowadays.
Oh, 100%.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I just,
I was glad to
Why
hear
are we
her,
spend-
and I was
sometimes-
glad to hear Steve talking about things that they didn't think were that important, but they met with the town administrator, and he said, you should put it out there. I
Yeah.
think that's good.
It makes sense, just, and I think I mentioned that to Steve, is like, it'd be nice to see a 10-year plan, like,
Yeah.
because if you know you're gonna need a
That's
truck and it's gonna last 10 years, just put a place marker there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing with a boat. I think I told him that 4 or 5 years ago with a boat.
Oh, yeah.
Just just put a marker there. Even if you don't need it, at least it's there, and if you can, wanna kick it down a year or two, you can do that.
Yeah.
Right now, it's like, all of a sudden you come like, we need 90,000, like, where did that come from?
Right.
That's really difficult to, like, for us to have to plan for that. you
Right.
know?
Bruce, what were you gonna say about the study for the, were you gonna say something about the
The
study?
library.
No, it'd just be, who do you talk to, to get something like that designed? Do you talk to UMass and say, hey, listen, we've got this project, we'd love to have, a couple of kids out of the engineering class or something, or architectural class, to do something and see what they can come up with before you even spend money?
Because I feel like these studies are done by people from the field who are retired, and I don't think that they're done with the mindset to really make this more efficient. I think they look at what the guidelines say, or what the standards are and all of that, but,
And I don't think they think out of the box much. I think they just go back to what they know,
yeah. I was gonna offer to do the study. Want me to do it?
I think when Dina was, she was talking to us, she was more of, they're not looking to knock down walls and
No, but
bust windows
Improve
and,
the layout and improve
yeah,
the
they're trying to get the
efficiency.
most efficiency out of that whole
Yeah,
space.
But I think to do that, there might be some, like,
There's gonna
the
be
study
some
might
kind of
show that
work.
go, like, cause I, personally, I look at it going like that entrance downstairs should be the main entrance.
Yeah,
yeah,
And the circulation desk, when I look at the UMass library, the circulation desk is right near the entrances, so that's the first
Yes,
thing you see before
right.
you actually get into the library. It's like a choke point, so this way you're meeting, guests as you go in, and even upstairs, it's not a choke point, it's like,
well, it used to be when it
Yeah.
first started, because nobody knew about going in that back door, and then they made that all a little bit more handicap accessible instead of the ramp. And more people were starting to use that. The kids are using it more, and they're downstairs. And you've got the room downstairs, so everybody started using that, so everything started focusing.
Because if you park in the parking lot, you have to go out of the
Right.
parking lot and
yep.
down the sidewalk and up the
Right,
stairs.
so it changes, so,
Yeah.
like, I can see, if you wanna compete to North Yarmouth, if you took that that top entrance in the back where it is now, and you cut that off and put a wall through there, that you could actually have a nice room, and then everything else could be library, and then you worry about
I
the
think it's
downstairs.
funny that people complained about that library for so long. Why do we need it? Why do we even need one library these
Yeah.
days,
Oh, yeah.
And then we see why.
And they
so we're
saw-
thinking of,
it's one of those tough things where,
Yeah,
I
I think we
mean,
should do that.
yeah. So we're,
Do you wanna do it, or do you wanna just put it out for, knowing that, is that an option? Is it an option for Cody to reach out to see if we can get something going, at least if you get,
I think that number is high personally.
yeah.
I think it's, 50,000 is a lot of money. It's not like an architectural study.
Right,
It's
that's what I'm saying. It could be
literally
like
She
a-
just
seems
a
like,
Well, it's an
she
efficient-
seemed like she said it was, she thought it was, she was just erring on the side of caution.
yeah.
The number.
Well, I think, yeah, she used the number that I think that,
Cody had recommended.
yeah, had recommended. I think,
Could come in at 25 or 30
We could do
probably.
it for 20, or, 20, half of that.
yeah, I mean, I don't know, and I don't want to like limit it and then have it be an absurd number. Now they're using their own money to cover the rest. I just think that that's,
Like when the MSBA comes in, they look at what is gonna be worth it, right? They make recommendations based on that. They don't make recommendations based on what would be the best and what would be this, the highest standard for these things.
Well, MSBA comes in and they're looking at complete efficiency because they're splitting the bill.
Yeah.
They're splitting a portion of that bill, so they want to make sure that whatever products they're using, whatever services they're getting are going to be the most efficient.
And
I
I
mean,
think
not
that's a
cheap,
good way to
but
approach things,
you know,
yeah, yep.
the most efficient.
I think we table it to see
Okay.
what we need with the schools, and then if we need to, I think we can go back and.
Yeah.
And,
I'll leave it green for now and then
because I think that puts us at like 592,000.
left.
I can see that.
No, spent.
Oh,
so-
spent, okay,
I
so,
can see that in
another
the
half
fall.
million. Yeah, I mean, it's not.
It's not time sensitive at this point and everything else like that, and just throw out the ideas. And it's great that she brought it up, because now it's at least, it's in the forefront of the thought to start looking into.
So the last one is the schools.
yes. So the schools, just to put it into perspective,
Save the hardest for last.
Yeah, and I think,
if you took out the 100 million, you get about if you took out, like I mentioned, this and the roof, you're looking at,
a lot of money.
Yeah, still a lot of money.
So I took notes when Mr. Kylie was here.
Yes.
And projects that we could do in the summer would be the school bus replacement, the asbestos-containing building materials, so the floor replacement project, and then the technology hardware are the three that can get done in the summer. All the others, and Bruce was the one who asked these questions, they could wait till the fall for the playground, the telephone, the track, the maintenance truck is something where it would be a nice to have, and same thing with the bathroom renovations. So if we just did those three, that is $675,000.
So that is the
School bus
school bus replacement, the technology hardware,
And the flooring. Those are all ones, and they were all summer, can be done in the summer.
And be accomplished, yeah.
bathroom renovations?
The bathroom renovations was something where he is a 2.
Okay, yep, right.
The only other one that's a 1, I think that we could potentially put towards,
Playground?
no,
Oh, that playground's full.
no, some, that he was okay if we could partially fund would be the HVAC repairs and replacements. That's something where if we put some money in there, they can keep going with the work that they're doing.
What school was that in, do you remember?
That was,
Quinn?
that was at the
Multi-
Dartmouth High School, was,
Yeah.
was where
Not at the middle, though.
He's got multiple schools.
multiple
That's how-
schools, but I think it was like primarily to get the high school, because they had that, if we did the tour, there
Oh,
was
yes,
one room that
yes,
was like
yes, yeah, the high
incredibly
school,
hot,
yeah.
and I think that would, help pay for that, so if we did have any money to throw towards stuff, I think the HVAC repairs and replacements would be a wise, and then everything else could wait till the fall, or we just.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know when he comes in front of us with the flooring, he usually does, he's doing sections of the schools.
Quinn School.
So he's done a lot already. He's done a lot of bathroom repairs already, but he's continuing to do sections of the schools as the funds become available, so, okay.
And I think he said, if I recall, I believe he did have some money left in bathroom renovations, not a lot, but there was still a little bit.
Yeah,
left
it was a small amount.
in that article. And the school has done a fantastic job with the bathroom renovations that they've done. The
Yes.
pictures that they've shown have been pretty
Yeah.
outstanding. So if we do that, just those three, sorry,
It's an additional,
675 plus 542, you're at 1.217 million, not including the library or any funding for the HVAC. And we have, if we save $1 million, we're at 2.1, and I think the goal is to have a little bit more, right, this year than we normally do, for a bunch of different reasons.
so why don't I put these together for our last meeting, for our final meeting? I'll run this list, put them together, get the balances, and then also include the 4 candidates for the next meeting.
When's that
And
meeting? We have it set up already.
when is the next meeting?
Yep.
Well, whenever the.
You wanna do it like next Tuesday, like a week from now, or what do you think?
Yeah, that's okay with me.
Next Tuesday,
24th.
I could do it in the middle of the day, but I
So
can't do
Gary,
it.
I think that
Can't
leaves
do it
us
in the-
with,
I could do it Monday morning,
One
if that works for
point-
people.
sorry,
Monday, I
just had to calculate, it leaves us with
gotta go see my friendly
1.9
doctor.
million
Okay,
in free
Free cash.
cash. Which allows us, if 1.9 is a lot and we want to do 1.5, that'll allow us to fund the library, potentially throw some money in HVAC,
yeah,
and then maybe do one cruiser.
okay, you're right, yeah,
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
good.
So like 1.5 it's, I don't know if that,
Yeah,
if 1.9
because he may
is-
not get that cruiser now until the fall.
Right, so if
when
that's
we-
the case, we can kick that back to the fall, and then,
Yeah,
you know,
all right, so we have some wiggle room, we can.
yeah, I think with what we've done, it leaves us with you'll tell us if 1.5 is a reasonable
Yeah.
amount to carry forward, or if the 1.9 is more advantageous for us to carry forward.
Okay, yeah, I'll have that ready for the next meeting. I'll run the spreadsheet too, so we have just looking at the items that we've approved, that have been recommended, actually preliminarily recommended. So the 24th doesn't work, how
Doesn't
about
In the morning, I could do noontime or the afternoon.
noon?
I can, I have Wednesday or Thursday too.
Yeah, either way is okay with me.
Does Wednesday work?
Wednesday is good for me, I don't know, is the Wednesday good for you?
9?
But you guys can go ahead and.
No.
that's
We-
What day?
we
What day?
Value your input, Terry.
What day are you talking about?
Wednesday, the 25th?
Well, how about what works for you, Terry?
Well, Monday after like 10, Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday, no, Thursday, no, Friday afternoon. That's why I say if you guys,
So Monday after 10,
yep,
I can make that work.
I can make that work.
Yeah,
can you?
Yeah.
So like.
Monday at what time?
10:30?
Yeah,
Okay,
so the
I'll be coming back from
23rd at
Rainham.
10:30.
great, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Do you wanna?
All this together, so,
Thanks, Lou.
like what, like 10:30 to 12 probably or something,
Yeah.
yeah.
approximately? In this room.
So the next thing, or the final thing on the agenda, it would be minutes, and I forwarded those on. Those are the February 18th minutes.
A motion to approve those minutes as written.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think I was
Opposed?
at that meeting.
Go back and look at the attendance.
There's been so many meetings, God.
Okay,
No way, no way. I resign, I'm done.
alrighty, so that is it. I'll have this all together for the next meeting, and then we can go forward.
I'm sending out a calendar invite too.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
So drink.
Second by Terry. All in
favor?
favor?
Aye.
Aye, thanks. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.